Yo yo, this is internet personality Vangelis. I just saw District 9 a couple hours ago and wanted to record some thoughts about it. Non-spoilery, I will say it's possibly the best movie I saw this summer. I'd highly recommend it, especially if you saw some other movies this summer. You ought to see District 9 too. Add it to your catalog. Go see it! Support this new director. He really needs the help. He doesn't really need the help. I mean the financial press. Go see it already, for crying out loud. I really recommend it, really do. It's got some incredible special effects considering it's fairly low budget. The director is a new face. He was going to be directing Halo. I believe he's just a friend of Peter Jackson's. Really good with special effects, and honestly I'm torn. I'm really happy District 9 was made, which makes me kind of happy Halo wasn't made, but at the same time, this guy is so good, and this is his first outing. I almost wish he could have said his first movie was Halo, for the name recognition and glory alone, because he really deserves it. That said, though, District 9, excellent. And I'm going to start spoiling now, so we might want to run along if you don't want to hear about this. Okay, the movie's style is interesting. It's a mix of documentary style and outright action scene filmic style. And it really works. I believe this is one way they managed to save on budget, as I adjust my glasses. That's a drinking game for this one. It used a lot of helicopter shots for news-style footage. It had a lot of documentary-style stuff, interviewing people. At the beginning of the movie, they very much convince you that this man you're watching, whose name I constantly forget, which is why I have the Wikipedia page open behind me, Vikas Vandermerve, they have you believing he's gonna die. This is the way that they're talking about him. And they have you believing that perhaps he's the villain. Or they have you believing that he's going to trigger something that will kill him and many others. And as the movie begins, you also get a lot of stuff. This was brought up more so by the folks I saw it with, and I should say big thanks to Chris, and to Brendan, and to Holly, and to Eric and Farron, and to the guys whose names I forgot. Thanks for coming out and seeing it with me. It's really appreciated, and it was great hearing some of your guys' thoughts afterwards, because it helped me think about things that weren't just, oh my god, this is so cool. There was some really good messages conveyed about how animals are treated, how we treat things that are foreign to us, the politics of how an alien race might be viewed, the weapons-based politics of it. Just a lot of really good messages all put together. Really excellent movie. I do think there were a couple little problems. They were mostly in the writing, and given that this is this guy's first movie, I'm actually going to give him a lot of leeway on this, although I should check. Yeah, it was written by him. So, I do give him a lot of leeway. There were just two big things for me, and I'll get them out of the way now, because this was such a good movie. I feel bad talking about what I disliked about it. The first one was, one of the key plot points that kicks everything off is that Vikas is going to this District 9 concentration camp type place they've set up for these aliens who arrived 20 years ago, and their mothership is still floating over Johannesburg, and, you know, there's Nigerians in there and stuff like that, drug dealing them cat food for alien weapons nobody can use because the alien weapons require an alien biology to even begin to function. This guy, Vikas, is going in there to tell them that they're all going to be evicted to District 10, which is a new, more concentration-y, campy type place farther away from Johannesburg, because apparently aliens have been getting loose, and they're people, quote-unquote. So they've been going out and looting and stuff like that, because they're just, you know, they're refugees. They don't know how to act sometimes. And this guy's going around, Vikas, and he is coming across as a villain, or as an idiot who's going to get killed off to kickstart the plot. And that was where I was interested in the movie. It was very kinetic at the start, very documentary style, and keeps you interested in what's going on. The aliens, by the way, were superb. I loved the designs. I gotta congratulate whoever put those together, because they were not only insectoid bipeds, they were not only highly alien, but they were highly emotive, and they were played as people, which is really what gets me happy when I see aliens. I hate it when non-human aliens must also be bestial because they're not human in any way facially. I despise that convention, so I was really happy to see that not case in this movie. So, you see this guy, and you don't like him, and you see a couple aliens having, you know, dialogue scenes with subtitles. And you start liking them, and you start getting misled towards maybe the aliens are the main characters and this guy's the villain. And he squirts himself in the face with this stuff, and to get back to the point that I was trying to get to minutes ago, he squirts himself in the face with this fluid that's taken them the aliens, 20 years to scrounge up and collect from their own technology's fuel cells, and he pukes, and he starts having these symptoms, like he's gonna die of a virus, and I immediately start thinking, ooh, they've come up with a virus to wipe out humanity. what it does is it starts mutating his body into one of the aliens. Now, the problem I have is that at no point in the movie is it ever explained how that's happening. I understand that it would just be a case of it's alien chemicals coming in contact with human biology, but the fact that it would turn human biology directly into alien biology was just so specific that I wish more explanation had been given somehow. It just felt like it was a hard thing to buy right away, but you were thinking the whole time that they were going to explain what was happening. So, I hate to say that that was a bad part of the movie. It honestly wasn't bad. It just was something that was kind of nagging in the back of my head after I finished watching it. But it is the crux of the storyline, so I do kind of wish something more had been explained. But, you know, it's pebbles compared to how good this movie was. The other thing that I didn't really like was, this comes into play more at the end, where Vicus is hard to explain. This guy he comes off as a villain or an idiot who's gonna get killed. Then he's the main character. Then you start feeling sorry for him. You're sympathetic to him. But he's still an asshole the whole time, so that's the kind of hard thing to follow. And then, you know, him and this alien who put together the fuel cell, Christopher Jones, I think. I'm gonna find out now. Sorry, Christopher Johnson. Sorry, Laffo. I thought it was... Anyway, this alien Christopher Johnson and his son, the alien's son, who was unbelievably cute, and I'll get to that in a sec. They go and they get this fuel cell, blah, blah, blah. Last minute, the alien says, actually, I'm gonna have to come back 3 years later to help you out. And so Vicus flips out, and he punches the alien out with well, doesn't punch him, he smacks him across the head with a stick, and starts up his spaceship that's buried underground. A piece of the mothership that was seen falling from the mothership when it arrived, the command section. And the thing is that not only that, but then through a series of hijinks, Vicus gets into a robot suit. And this alien, Christopher Johnson, has been, you know, smacked around, beat up by these hired mercenaries who were to come in and help them evict the aliens in the first place. And Vicus leaves him. He starts running away. Now, as he's running away, he hears them in the enhanced comm systems of the robot suit say they're going to kill Christopher Johnson, and then he turns around to help him. And when they're getting this fuel cell that was confiscated from Vicus when he was, you know, he was basically, as they saw him turning into an alien from this stuff, they were subjecting him to experimentation, and they kept this little cylinder of fuel. So during that scene, he says to the alien, "Oh, you've got a little boy," because Christopher Johnson is messed up by seeing, you know, all the alien dissections going on. As he's running away, he undergoes his character change and comes back to save Christopher Johnson and becomes a badass hero. When it happened, I thought to myself, I don't buy it, because this guy was such an unlikable dick throughout most of the movie that I didn't believe he had it in him to become a hero. And I know that, you know, the whole idea is, you know, he didn't have it in him, but he got it in him through his experiences. But the character change that happened so suddenly. It was just really kludgy writing. But then again, I can see what the intent was, and given that, again, this is this guy's first outing, and it was such an effective and awesome outing, I feel bad bringing this up, but, you know, just for the sake of critique, that was the other thing that kind of bugged me. So if that character growth had been a little bit more clean, or hadn't been all over the place, because it was kind of like up and down and up and down and up and down, and it is easy to say, you know, that it's because this guy's arm is turning alien and it's kind of freaking him out, but, you know, it was kludgy to me. So, you know, the lack of explanation as to why he was mutating and the really sudden character change, those were my big nitpicks on the movie. But there's a whole lot the movie did well, like Christopher Johnson's little boy. This little alien boy was the cutest thing I've ever seen. And this was potentially going to be a negative, because the whole time this movie's going on, there's this one mercenary they're setting up to be, you know, the real big bad guy, the biggest bad guy. And there were many times where I thought they were going to have this guy kill the alien boy in order to make us really hate him. And if anyone had killed Christopher Johnson's little boy, there is nothing that could have happened to the killer that would have made me feel satisfied. If that little alien kid had died, I would have instantly despised the movie right then and there, because that would have been sick. This would go beyond killing a baby, a kitten, or a puppy dog on screen. This would be like this. I don't even know how to describe it. This alien kid was so unbelievably cute when he's like sitting in the sand, playing with his cans. Oh man. Also, the movie really kind of red herrings you a bit at the end, in a good way. At first you think there's going to be a clean, happy ending, and then you think, oh my god, they're going to go for the utter downer ending. And then it gets really awesome again. So it's really a great thrill ride of a movie, too. The mecha suit. Yeah. everything in me that is M said that was beautiful. I dare say that despite his unlikableness throughout most of the movie, Vicus became a man when he was in that suit, doing his last stand, shouting at the mercenaries, and friggin' blowing them up. Also, the special effect for the alien weaponry, genius! I'm really sure it was another budget saver, actually, is there were sometimes these electric bolt guns, and when someone would get hit with them, they would literally burst like a water balloon. And I'm pretty sure that that kind of effect was done in like a pseudo-practical way. I mean, I'm guessing here, maybe I'm wrong, but it struck me as something that could have been done in a pseudo-practical way that would have been both effective and budget-saving. And that's one of the real big effective parts of District 9, is the amazing things it pulled off with a small budget. Also, all the political intrigue is in there, and the government kind of stuff, and it is a really good subplot, but by the end of the movie, I was really concentrated and fixated a lot on Christopher Johnson and his son, more so than Vicus. And there's a part in the movie where it starts making you think that Christopher Johnson and his son are really the main characters. And I was actually a little sad that Vicus ended up staying the main character. I mean, I ended up liking him after all his kludgy character turns, but I sort of wish the movie had been all about Christopher Johnson and his son. And in a way, the movie was very much about them, but I wish there was more of them in it. I did think the ending was glorious, especially with the metal rose, and then he's turned into an alien, but he's still making roses for his wife. I love that his mind was not gone, that he was still in his mind the same man, even though he was in an alien body. I will always speak out against the idea that any kind of inhuman alien or human turned into an inhuman alien must then turn bestial. I just don't like that at all. I think it's unbelievably limiting, and it's one of the few times I'd say cliché doesn't work. So this movie did a lot of things right, and a lot of things that really rubbed me the right way. It is a pretty violent movie at times, and it is a little oddball. There's a lot of accents, although there are a lot of subtitles used, and there's even subtitles used for the Nigerians. The Nigerians, that's potential racism, but honestly, I think that given the way they were used in the story, it wasn't done for the sake of being mean. And when it comes to filmic racism and me, the mean-spiritedness is what I look for. And if I don't think the mean-spiritedness was there, then I can just deal with it. So I don't think that this was done to say, hey, Nigerians are jerks. So I wouldn't really say that's something to criticize. I can understand if someone wants to, but speaking for myself, I think that's a waste of energy. Overall, District 9 was an unbelievably great first outing for this director and writer, Neil Blomkamp. And I really enjoyed it, so I would highly recommend this movie. I'm sure I have more to say, but I'm trying to just vamp this off and then cut this up and put it up. So if you have any more questions or thoughts on the movie that you'd like me to talk about, or that you want to talk about and just bring to my attention if I glazed over them, or if you just want to bring them up anyway because District 9 was great, then leave some comments or leave some video responses or whatever, and again, go see it. It's really, really good. And my only fear is that there are people who are going to see it only because this summer had some fashionably unlikable blockbusters. Really, this movie, despite whatever came out this summer, this movie was excellent. Go see District 9! This is Internet Personality Vangelis, and I can assure you that I'm not an alien.